Hey! We're on the show. Welcome in, everybody,
What
to
up?
the SMITE 1 Dev Insight here for patch 11.12, the Ghosts of Holiday Past. I'm J-Mac. I got Dandy and Lermy still sticking around here as we get ready to jump in and talk about the upcoming patch notes and what you can expect in the world of SMITE 1.
Exciting stuff, and super crazy to think that after a long year, we are at the final update of year 11.
Can you believe it?
No.
That's crazy.
I genuinely can't. I remember Worlds like it was yesterday. We were talking about it up on stage, like all the stuff coming up.
It wasn't yesterday?
No, it was.
Oh,
it was literally yesterday.
Oh my god, and you guys missed it? That's crazy.
Yeah, and Vegas feels like it's going to be tomorrow, so we're just...
Oh god, it is really soon.
Yeah, time is a
concept.
Yeah.
It exists.
A concept that's flying by way too fast. So now... that time is flying. Let's talk about this last update. Let's talk about 11.12.
Let's do it.
So obviously, like most updates, we're going to have a couple skins and a variety of balance that we're going to dive into on the patch notes, which are live on the website right now, smitegame.com/news. So
Yeah.
I've typed that in enough.
Let's see if I remember my proper buttons here. This one should bring up
the notes.
The notes.
Woohoo!
We have a very holiday-themed Thor, very angry up there. So
Yeah, that's from the last patch in the Yule Fest event.
it is, and the Yule Fest event will continue to keep going, and we thought that was just nice, relevant. It was just very seasonal, you know.
A ghost of holiday
go ahead and
past and
pull our
holiday and
cameras away
things like
because-
that.
We got some new skins.
Some new skins. Let's scroll down.
New
and see them.
patch, new skins.
So as always, as we said at the top of the year all those months ago, we have Immortal Honor releasing two cross-gen skins every update, and here they are, our two final cross-gen skins of the year with the Immortal Honor event. Spirit Stone Geb, look at our big rocky boy.
Aw. And
He's like a giant geode.
He is like a giant geode, and he is the friend of the deer.
I love this line of skins. He's like little spirit, you know, the purples and the blues.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite ones. I think like the Opwash one is the one I use the most.
Yeah.
There's the Jingwei one I think she's got. Bakasura had one. That's it.
Oh,
the,
yeah. There's so many of them. This skin line's so great.
It was like at one point just like a couple of gods, and then it started getting more and more. I'm like,
And now
perfect. This is my
everybody got one.
This
You
is
get
my
a-
favorite
you
line
get
of
a spirit
skins.
skin.
Yeah,
You
you're
got a
a
spirit
gin.
skin.
You're a gin. So yeah, absolutely love it. I just love Geb skins. They're so much fun for that.
I think I just love Geb.
Agreed.
Geb is
How could you
cool.
not? So next up, right there, another familiar skin line. We have Crimson Striker CERN, which is again just a very popular skin line that we've seen over and over again.
God, I love the skin line so much.
Yeah,
It is just so scary, so evil. They're trying to destroy some people in
Yeah.
a very eviscerating fashion, you might say.
Which one was it? Fenrir was the first one of this line.
I don't remember.
It
who
was
the
either
first.
Fenrir or Morgan Le Fay.
It might have been Morgan Le
Fay.
Fay because
I
I
think
know
it was Morgan
then
Le Fay,
King
yeah.
Arthur came in and then
Oh,
Fenrir
maybe.
showed up and then
maybe it was
we
King
just got Hercules.
Yeah, that
So,
Hercules one is fun too.
Dude, seeing that in Smite 2 blows me away.
It's so awesome.
Cross-gen skins. are
And
cool.
eventually, this one will also be in Smite 2.
That's true.
Oh, and this one's gonna be cool too because on Chronos you get the different seasons. So
Yeah.
the green horns are gonna
Yeah.
be green, yellow, go to the red. I'm gonna say in the red stance, so it's just color theme matching.
It just matches, you
Yeah.
know?
And then the blue as well. Yeah, it's
Yes.
gonna be a fun one.
They have a fun voice pack.
And also-
as well.
Yeah,
Obviously.
speaking
I
of
wrote
voice
this
pack,
one.
this is a spoiler. I scrolled all the way down to the bottom of the patch notes to look. This is voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, so I'm definitely gonna be using that skin.
Go to table of contents and click on it. Let's just jump right to the end and show
Okay,
'em.
table of contents. There we go.
Ooh,
Woo!
maybe some spoilers.
There you
So
go.
Did you see any of the changes coming up?
We got Daniel Meeks on the new Gep skin and Christopher Guerrero on the
Yeah.
Chronos.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for y'all's incredible work. Love our
Thank
voice
you,
actors.
guys.
This one's gonna confuse people because that's also Thought's voice actor. So like,
What can you say? We work with talented people, and they come back and they're like, we got range.
and we're
So-
back. I hope you guys saw that. Whoa, there's a spoiler right there.
Whoa.
Though.
So
Not
that-
really a spoiler.
No. So as you might have seen recently, we are doing a partnership with Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. So there's a blog that exists for that elsewhere, and it is linked right there. But if you're interested, make sure to check that out. That is happening very soon. Should be coinciding actually with the release of this update and the Smite 2 update next week. But it's just some free swag in game. There's some free cosmetic stuff. So again, a really cool partnership opportunity. We're super stoked to be able to work with them. Absolutely love Lord of the Rings and all that it has to offer. I'm excited to see the War of the Rohirrim movie and excited to earn those cosmetics in game because I mean, let's face it, Lord of the Rings stuff and like already in Smite 2 Alpha, we're starting strong.
Oh, yeah.
It feels so cool. So anyway, make sure y'all check that out. Check out the blog. It is linked there again. And when the Smite 2 notes go live, probably next Monday, it'll be linked there as well if you haven't already gone and seen it. So I guess let's keep moving down. So next up, a bit of an update here with the viewer store. So this is an important thing to talk about. 11.12 is going to be the final update for Smite 1 that features the viewer store. I know.
Final one.
The final one.
I
It's been a long time, but the viewer store is finally taking its rest. But that being said, we still have this one more update, and we want y'all to be able to spend your viewer points and get stuff. So all throughout 11.12, the viewer store is going to be rotating rapidly, giving you a chance to blow those viewer points. So if you've been saving them up for something, there's going to be stuff rotating through constantly. Make sure to keep your eyes on it and make sure to blow those viewer points, because again, after this, as we move into year 12 for Smite 1, we're going to see the viewer store go away. There won't be any more viewer point drops through Twitch or anything. So again, this is going to be it's your Christmas shopping spree, you know.
Ooh,
so go through
little Christmas sale.
Yeah. So go ahead, treat yourself, spend those viewer points, and say goodbye to a shop that was a wonderful addition to Smite for a long time.
Yeah, it's gonna go out with a bang though. That sounds like a really fun thing to go and just check what's new every so often.
Yeah.
Love that.
So if there was ever something you missed, like maybe it'll come back up, you know. So very exciting.
Two quick little things to tack on with these two things going hand in hand here.
Of course.
Is on Lord of the Rings, just to remind people, it's 10 games to play in either Smite 1 or Smite 2, but you have to play 10 in the same game to get the redeem. I think that's listed in the blog post, but just to clarify for anybody who might be confused on it, so you play 10 of Smite 1 or 10 of Smite 2, and you get all the cool stuff with it.
If you play 5 and 1 and 5 and 2,
well, you gotta play 5 more and 1.
You gotta play 5 more.
And then with the viewer point stuff as well, as mentioned, there won't be any more viewer point drops. There is still discussion if there's going to be things like the partner drops. We haven't said yes or no to that one yet, so that's still currently up in the air. And once we have more information, we'll be able to share that with you too.
Of course.
Yeah.
So,
two brilliant additions. You're the best. I love you, J-Mac. All right.
Well, is it balance time?
I think it's balance time.
It's balance time. It's
Balance
Lermy's
time.
second balance pit for the first game this time instead of the second game. Here we go.
We said, Lermy, come here, sit down in this chair, and absolutely knock balance out of the park for two different games. So let's get into it.
All right, first things first.
First things first.
We don't have any item nerfs this time around. We're just talking item buffs. We felt like we're at a spot where, we're feeling like nothing's too particularly standing out as super OP. We just want to buff the stuff that feels not too good. And what feels not too good right now across the board? That's right, magical ADCs. They're performing really not great right now. If you're taking a look at some of those stats, especially Freya is feeling pretty bad. So we want to make sure that the rings are a little bit more enticing to pick up.
Nice.
First one we're talking about is Telkine's ring. It's getting a little bit more magical power and a little bit more attack speed.
Awesome, but what about the Ring of Hecate?
Yes, so these are the two rings that we're buffing. We felt like they had the most potential to give you a little bit more early strength, and not strength in the Smite 2 way. But Ring of Hecate is another fun item that works, a little bit like a power steal for yourself. So magical power going to be increasing in this one, attack speed, and then increasing the duration of the buff and the debuff from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. So a lot more applicable on how long you'll be able to hold on to this buff when you are hitting those enemies, which always feels nice. So these are kind of your early game options, and realistically, we feel like magical ADCs scale super well into the late game. So the early game options felt like the right place to work through with that, and that's kind of what you're seeing here for magical ADC buffs.
A little ramp up in the early game.
We're buffing the rings during the Lord of the Rings patch. I'm on to you.
You saw
you
right
got
through
us.
us.
We got us push. Caught emoji.
You've been
Caught emoji.
You've been
Sweating
discovered.
emoji.
Caught emoji.
All right, so what about Mail of Renewal? Let's talk about
Oh yeah, so this item's really cool and really fun. It's just really hard to use because the heal, it is situational, right? The heal is very interesting, cool that you can like pass that out to your boys. The problem is that it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit statted in not the most efficient way. It's honestly pretty okay for the price, but now we're making it really good for the price. We're giving you a bargain on Mail of Renewal this patch. We were talking about deals for the holidays. Now, this is an item that's getting a deal. Certainly, 100 gold off is not a humongous buff, but hopefully it'll be enough to be competitive in those, especially towards the early game support builds, or even solo builds, depending on who you're against.
True. We bought a lot of Mails of Renewal on Black Friday, and we're pushing the savings onto you. So,
guys, we have a backlog. We have too much stock.
Too much Mail of Renewal.
It's a bundle deal.
Put them on the clearance rack.
The demand is not high enough.
All right, so one more item to talk about: Gauntlet of Thebes.
Yeah, so this is another kind of supportive tanky item, mostly in the regards of your supports. We wanted to just make sure that supports were feeling nice overall, and Thebes was honestly getting a lot less play over things like Prophetic, or even Cannoneer saw a big shoot up in popularity after the last patch, so we were very excited to see that Thebes, maybe isn't the mainstay that it always was, but we want to make sure that it's still feeling like an option. It's not feeling like it's a bad choice to go Thebes over Prophetic, over Cannoneers, or over even Mail of Renewal if you're really feeling crazy this patch. So just a little bit of extra health. 50 isn't too crazy, but enough to the point where you're like, all right, it's a little bit better and a little bit more efficient bang for your buck, since we've been talking about that so much. And by buck, I mean gold.
By buck, I mean
specifically.
gold.
You don't have to pay real money to get Gauntlet of Thebes in game.
No, but you can if you want to. And just send it to me on Twitter. It'll be fine. All right, well, cool. So that does it for our items. And now we're moving on to gods. Also, I see in chat that's the old link to the last update. If there's somebody in chat or a mod that can update the link.
I think we need Elk. If Elk is around, if not, one of the mods should be able to ping him in our server, and then he should be able to get the update there.
Yeah.
No huge rush. I just noticed that, wanted to call it
If
out.
not, we'll get it updated by end of day today.
True.
Worst case.
ASAP-ish.
Or it's just on the website. If you go to the website, go to news, it'll be right there.
smigame.com/news / a lot of words I don't know.
Ghost dash of dash holiday dash past dash 11 dash 12 dash update dash notes.
Yeah, and then that'll get you there. Everything
That
else
will
is
get you
added,
there.
Yeah. So I hope you wrote that down.
Hope you
don't worry
memorized
about
it.
All right, so let's move on to gods, starting with buffs, starting with Newt.
Yes, Newt.
Newt.
Newt is such a cool character. She came out at the beginning of this year, and what a more fitting way to end the year off than with a Newt buff. Convergence getting a little bit of decreased cooldown. This ability is super cool because of how it combines with her third ability, Warp, in being able to get those cooldowns back. But when you're just using it, just in general, to clear the wave, get some extra damage, etc., we're going to be making that a little bit more available. And then Skyfall. The very epic go up in the sky, Space Jam style, just slam giant
Come on and slam.
black hole
And
into
welcome
the
to the
ground
jam.
type style ability. Just a little bit more damage across the board. The center hit is the standard damage scaling, and the surge is the outer area that just does the damage and then the pull in. So a little bit of both getting an increase there, but only the scaling going up for the center part.
Scaling on both the slam and the jam. Powerful stuff. Next, a goddess you might be familiar with, Ishtar.
Yeah, I think both of them. I'm gonna get hit with the Reddit bias, but I promise you guys, we were looking at hunters to buff, and we were like, wow, these two are doing
nepotism.
bad. These guys are doing bad. Oh god. Yeah, Ishtar still very bad somehow. We've given her a lot of buffs over the year, and I've been honestly very surprised to see her in the mid 40% in win and like bottom 3 popularity hunters for a long time. I think in general, it does have to do with another couple of hunters, feeling particularly strong.
Yeah.
We're keeping an eye on which hunters are getting played where. We're looking at our ranks. We're looking at our, other various modes, and Ishtar was just underperforming in all of them. So a couple small buffs here. Rolling Thunder getting a little bit of decreased cooldown, helps out with the clear, helps out with the poke a little bit. And then Blades of Retribution. This is definitely a more exciting buff, considering this is the per sword damage getting increased as well. So you hit more swords, you do more damage. It's going to feel real nice.
Gonna feel real nice. Now, next up is a god that I feel like we may have mentioned a little earlier, Thoth.
It's not intentional.
He didn't even know there was going to be a Thoth
There's
buff.
a Thoth?
It was intentional. He's a thinker. Don't let him fool you.
We wanted to be really careful with the Thoth buff because we know that this character is very volatile.
Scary bird.
He's your classic artillery mage. He goes far away from you and he pokes you. So we're trying to keep things light, keep things, mindful, demure buffs, couple of those
Some demure.
buffs. But we're trying to increase his safety a little bit, not going to make Evade and Punish a lower cooldown at the max level than it was, but we're giving him a little bit more of that love in the early game to help him get through that, and again, a little bit extra clear. Not too much extra. I mean, 5 per shot, it does get increased per each successful one that you're hitting, but hopefully that just small amount will be enough to give him that extra ability to kind of stay relevant in the laning phase. This is not the damage scaling, so this eventually does peter out to being not very relevant damage, and this is really focused on that general early game for Thoth, who does struggle there quite a bit.
Fair enough. I love referring to artillery mages as, like, poking you when it feels more like I'm being eviscerated from the history of mankind.
I'm getting
So,
shot with a 50 cal sniper in the background by him. It's just like, where did that come from?
I've been wiped out of the history
Yes.
books at that point.
Originally, we were like, gosh, Thoth is like such a solid character. We looked at the stats. He was like bottom 5 win rate, period. And I was like, that's not usually where Thoth is.
Sad burp.
He's usually at least like fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, he's like lower than like our classic like low win rate mages, like your Morgans and your Giannis's. He's lower than them, and I was very surprised by that.
Hi, Smite Game. Smite Game said hi to me in chat.
Hi, Smite
I gotta say
Game.
hi to Smite Game.
Hi, Smite Game.
Hi, Smite Game. Glad to see you.
Thanks, Smite Game.
Oh, look at that. We got
Smite
updated patch
Game.
notes.
Beautifully updated patch note.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Smite Game.
Thank you
love
so much,
you.
Smite Game.
All right, so let's talk E-Shell. Let's talk the beautiful rainbows.
Yay, E-Shell. This is a very exciting buff because E-Shell is another one of our newer goddesses to the
True.
lineup over the past couple of years, but she had a point, at least within the past 12 months, where she was real strong. She got a small, adjustment downward, and then she kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. I mean, the battlefield. I mean, are they on Earth? I don't really know. They're somewhere.
Yeah.
Where they're fighting. It's an undescribable, indiscriminate location of where they could be at any given time. However,
And she disappeared right off it.
yeah, she was not there anymore. So we are going to be decreasing the cooldown of Lunar Invocation to help start off those combos right. A little bit of extra healing for her if she needs it as well. Rainbow Crash is also there for your more skill shot oriented abilities. It does take, a second. It's a smaller circle than your average circle. So giving that a lot more rewarding damage when you're actually hitting those.
Nice.
Sweet.
So next up we have the clip maker. We have the crowd
Tear.
pleaser. We have Tear.
And sometimes Manny.
And Fearless.
Yes, indeed.
You will
So this
feel
is
the
both Fearlesses are getting a bit of a change up here. The assault stance damage is going up, the guard stance damage is going up, and the cooldown is going down. It's actually going to be going down by 1 second at all ranks, which will feel really nice.
Really nice.
Really nice.
Nice and easy.
All right, so how about we talk the hung next? We have Achilles.
Oh yeah, Achilles, on the way to Smite 2, was feeling like he needed a little bit of extra love in Smite 1 because he was not doing too hot. And I was surprised by this as well. When I was looking at the stats, guys, I'm not going to lie, my jaw was on the floor for a couple of these. And I was like, Achilles? Really?
Yeah.
He's not doing that hot?
Our boy.
His performance, of course, was the big standout factor in why he's here. But his popularity was also kind of low. So we're like, okay, maybe just a little bit of extra love to get people hyped to be able to play him in Smite 2 with all of his new +1s that we haven't revealed yet. But make sure you're sticking around for the next month or so to see what those could possibly be.
Titan Tars go off, y'all.
Oh yeah. Decreased cooldown though on Shield of Achilles by 1 second. Combat dodge getting a bit of extra damage. So that clear is gonna look mighty nice if you're trying to, dodge around that wave, dodge around your enemies, whatever it might be. It's also a smaller buff to Achilles in the jungle since you're not getting that second combat dodge. So we were hoping that the extra damage there is gonna feel really nice. Whereas the extra access to stun, poke, whatever it is from Shield of Achilles is also just helping out.
All around good stuff. So the next in line is somebody that we actually already see in Smite 2.
Yeah.
Yamoja. Just needed a little love in Smite 1.
Yeah, so we're feeling like, in general, we're seeing a lot less super tippity top end level play in Smite 1. Obviously, we have a lot of our esports going on Smite 2, which means that it seems like it's probably okay now. Right, guys? It's okay now to buff
fine now.
Yamoja.
Are you sure?
It's fine.
Guys, it's okay to buff Yamoja, right?
We checked. We asked.
She is still an underperformer, right? But we're hoping that because a lot of our top-end players have already made the jump over to Smite 2, that for those players that love Yamoja and really still do want to stick around with her in Smite 1, that she's going to be feeling a lot better to use for your more average player. We want to increase that basic attack healing per level from 0.4 to 0.5, so this adds up over the time to 2 more healing,
Nice.
which is very nice. 2 healing is not nothing, right? And this
No,
is per
free.
tick, so again, it happens multiple times a second for a long duration. River's Rebuke as well, going to 120 seconds. Can we believe it, guys? We're
back.
finally
Cannot
able to
believe
have
it.
an ultimate that's not 140 seconds. Woohoo!
We're back.
We're so back.
Don't have to be afraid of throwing it as soon as you get it. Level 6, engage, get rid of the ult. It's fine. It'll be back in 120.
There was a thread from one of the EU support players who had made, which was things that I can do while I wait for Yamoja ult to come off of cooldown, and it was
Oh
just
my
like
God.
five or six posts on the thread. It was a very fun one to read by. Like the top one was like, I can go brush my teeth. I can make a cup of coffee.
Brush your teeth in 140 seconds? I mean, I guess so.
True.
2 minutes?
You want to brush for a long time if you're doing the flossing and all of that stuff.
I mean, if you're
rinsing,
going the full, if
if
you're going the
mouth
full,
washing,
yeah. I mean, if you're going the full,
you
yeah.
gotta.
Maybe we're
you're
just
gonna
talking
do
like
what
that,
part of it?
that
Just a-
pre-lunch
just a quick
brush, you know,
brush.
like not like the before bed, just the post-lunch, not pre-lunch, post-lunch.
Goodness gracious.
All right, so next up, a guardian after my own heart, somebody I know and love. We have Kuzenbo.
Kuzenbo.
What's my nay-nay?
Hey.
Sorry, I was too distracted by how accurate that hay was.
That was very good. I thought I was in the room with him right now.
Kuzenbo is a very interesting character, right? Because he has applications in a lot of non-conquest modes as well. So we wanted to make sure that these buffs weren't too crazy. But as a character that plays a lot around cooldown, we wanted to make sure that Nene Kappa was available as a poke tool to continue to allow him to kind of start fights, get that extra bit of proccing if he wanted to, which also feels nice past that change earlier in the year. And then Sumo Slam, just a little bit more scaling on top here for those really aggressive Kuzenbo players that know the tech that if you push the enemy into the wave, they get hurt quite a lot.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, it used to
It
be
hurts.
like a really bad problem. Like people just got pushed into waves and they just died.
You know, I didn't think getting pushed into a bunch of other little guys, would be really that big of a
You
deal.
think
But
you just like knock them over like you're a god. They're
Yeah,
just,
you're a
they're just,
god.
like,
Yeah.
they're just dudes.
No,
Yeah.
but Kuzan pushes really hard.
really
Like,
hard.
it's really
He's
hard
a strong
push.
guy.
He
He
is.
may not look like it, but
Nah,
It's almost like the
tough.
equivalent, like
Pure
whenever you
muscle.
drive your car like over like the little like mini cones there. It's like the
Yeah, that's what you think it would be like, and then you're like, oh, there's a rock under every single one of those.
yeah, instead of just a nice little plastic cone, that is just a rock.
Yeah.
A sharp rock in your tires.
All right, so next up, we have more for Thor.
Thor getting a buff in Smite 2
Thor.
and now in Smite 1 as well. It's crazy how much this bad boy fell off. He's still towards the top end of the ban list, but he really is quite a shadow of his former self in comparison to his peak days. So we're getting a little bit of a decreased cooldown here from 12 to 10 to 10 at all ranks, which is going to feel nice. And we're also increasing the AoE of Anvil of Dawn to help out with that combo clear to clear out a team fight, especially if you are, slamming into 3 people with that ultimate, or if you're just adapting and you're hitting all 5 with it. Either way.
Either way, sounds good. All right, so Ratatosker _God_nerf in chat figured it out. We have Ratatatatatatosker.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about items.
We're talking about acorns.
We're talking about some toasted nuts by the fire, some not chestnuts.
Acorns roasting on an open fire.
So every acorn here is going to be getting its own set of buffs. We've got protections for thick bark getting the buff, evergreen getting some more max health as well. That's going to feel nice. We've got
Beautiful.
Thistlethorn, which is the ability oriented one, getting some more power. 10 more power is going to feel real nice. And then Bristlebush getting an extra 5% basic attack damage after you use dart. This is when you're using dart specifically, you get this extra basic attack damage.
Specifically.
Don't feel
See,
real nice.
That's the crazy thing about working on this is there are so many gods with so many interesting pronunciations that I'm learning new things every day, such as that's pronounced bristle.
Yes.
Yeah, see? I didn't know you had to roll
I have
the
a bad
R.
habit of I've listened to Mike's streams too much when he was playing Smite 1. He calls this god Roditoski. Roditoski. It's just so funny.
Dude.
It's so funny. I don't know why.
See, but it's funny thinking because I played this game quite a bit before I worked here, and when you're just playing it, I'm like, you see a name, you read it, and that's how you lock it in. And then I start hosting update shows 5-6 years later, and I'm mispronouncing all these names because I just learned to say them at my desk in college. So imagine if I sat down one day and was like, all right, so let's talk about Jeb. Like,
I do call him Jeb. Let's be fair here.
What's funny is when we were looking at names for our second puppy, we were considering Geb just to stick with the Egyptian guardians.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we're not going to do that because like one of our family members is just going to see GEB and they go, why is his name Jeb?
yeah,
It's like,
it'll
it's
be
actually
over.
Geb. It's like,
Kellen says Roditoski is his new name.
Roditoski.
If Kellen says it, it's official.
True.
Ooh, I see a nerf.
Oh, we've got some nerfs,
Uh-oh.
ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
We're done with the buffs.
Starting with the horror of the mind, Cthulhu.
Cthulhu getting a nerf here to Sanity Break as well. We're increasing that cooldown. Instead of going down by 1 second every rank, it's going down by 0.5 instead. So top end of things, that's not going to be a 10-second cooldown. That's going to be a 12-second cooldown.
What? But what about the mire?
The Mire also going to be dealing less damage, less clear in that lane of yours. There's definitely 2 ways to double down on decreasing that clear over in solo lane. Going to have a lot less efficacy in trying to get some extra sanity breaks off, and the Mire is going to, of course, be dealing less damage.
Sounds fair. Hurts as a Guardian player, but you know what feels good as a Guardian player? The fact that Ao Kwang is getting some nerfs.
Yeah, Ao Kwang. I was actually very surprised that this guy was a big nerf candidate, but he still is at the top of the ban list. He's doing,
Still on his stride.
pretty decently across the board. Not crazy, but decently, to the point where we're like, okay, well, these are some of the highest nerfs in the game, by far. You'd look at some of these top 5 gods, and they were like, compared to the ones directly below them for each of their classes, you know, it's very surprising just how much more of these gods are banned than the other ones. So Ao Kuang is the top, technically assassin, technically not.
Magical assassin.
We'll just call him jungler. So he's getting increased cooldown on Water Illusion and increased cooldown on Dragon Call. And I think there's one more thing. Maybe there is one more thing. Wild Storm, little bit less damage. Just a little bit across the board.
Triple nerf hammer.
I love it. It'll take a little while longer for him to execute me, inevitably. So, speaking of being a Guardian player, which is definitely the best thing in the world, no matter what people in chat might have to say, Athena, sadly enough, getting a little bit of a nerf as well.
Yeah, so Athena is a character that definitely has a lot of contention around her. Is she good? Is she bad? What is she doing? So Athena still has the highest ban rate for a non-solo Guardian looking at Cthulhu. That is across the board, and her performance is still decent. It's not bad by any means.
Yeah.
So we are going to be decreasing her CC, going from 1 to 2 seconds previously to 1 to 1.8 seconds, kind of in that same nature of, you know, in Smite 2 we're trying to reduce the CC across the board. It's still very high in Smite 1 in comparison. So we're trying to bring a little bit of that philosophy back on over to Smite 1, just a little bit though, in the places where it makes sense. Athena Taunt is definitely an incredibly strong CC for what it does. So we want to kind of bring that down just a wee bit, and then Defender of Olympus, when she comes crashing down, it's going to be doing a little bit less damage across the board.
Still a cool ult, though.
Oh, of course. It's an awesome ult. I love it.
So then everybody will stop playing and stop banning the gods.
Stop banning Athena!
So that way we can buff her later.
My global coverage.
It's our secret plan of buffing Athena in 6 months when people realize that she's not actually that good.
Write that down, Jeff. Write that down.
All right, so another thematic from Smite 1 to Smite 2 type deal is New Wa getting some nerfs.
Yes, New Wa. Wow, it's crazy that we just went back to back on the nerfs with her.
True.
We actually just did the reverse of this, essentially. For Shining Metal, at least, we brought, in Smite 2, the cooldown went from 10 to 9. Now it's going from 9 to 10. So get owned, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
But Clay Soldiers are going to be reducing less protection. She's definitely top of the ban rate, but also just like one of the most popular picks in ranked right now across the board. She does fall off a little bit going into the higher end of things. So we figured that this would kind of be a nerf that these kind of less skillful players will notice, because they just kind of, the protection reduction just kind of happens when you attack with the soldiers. They do it by themselves. So you'll still be doing the exact same thing. They just will be hurting you a lot less because they reduce less of your protections.
You said less skillful. You could have just said me. You could have just looked at me.
I'm not pointing fingers at
I
anybody.
noticed that Lermy didn't look that direction at all when she was saying it. It's like,
right. Her eyes were
I'm
she was
just staring at my feet right now, guys. I'm not looking at anybody in particular.
No, but I felt it. It was that audio gaze. All right,
I'm talking about you, random citizen.
Yeah. You're bad too, random citizen. All right, Katie, if you're in chat, look away. We have one
Oh,
more.
Katie's on vacation. This
Oh.
is the perfect time for Scotty.
That's why we got it off. She wasn't here to stop it.
That's a joke, obviously.
It
But
is.
Scotty is, honestly, remember I said her jaw was on the floor when I was looking at these stats? Scotty is like overperforming by an extreme amount, but she's one of those characters that is underpicked, but just like, I don't know if I've ever seen Scotty be this winning.
A powerhouse, huh?
I remember it was earlier in the year. I want to say around like 11.5 or so. I think it was right after we had buffed Calder to where he didn't just die instantly to jungle camps.
Yeah.
And the item
Her
procs.
and the item procs.
Yeah.
And her popularity and win rate shot up to like mid 50s. Like it spiked at like
Yeah.
all
Yeah, now
levels.
we're at like 60. And
Oh.
I'm like, it's not too much.
Doggy Daycam did too
The
much.
perception of Scotty in Smite 1 has always been a little bit tough, right? Because she doesn't have that like direct safety of I push button, I run away.
Yeah.
She has to actually use her feet and run away from people, which is crazy to think that there are characters that do that.
That's
But
a lot.
Scotty is one of them. But we're not changing that about her. We're still trying to keep that safety, which is like the thing that really matters for her perception the most, intact. And instead we're changing the time that it takes for Calder to regen HP from 4 seconds to 5 seconds, and we're also increasing the cooldown of Winter's Grasp by 10 seconds.
Cool stuff. Well, I believe if you scroll down a little more, you'll see what we saw earlier. Our
Skin voice
beautifully-
actors!
Hooray!
Woo! Yay!
But that does it. And again, it feels like it's been one day and also an eternity.
So many.
But
Many
we have
days.
made it to the end of year 11. So many changes between this and Smite 2. It's been a crazy year, but Wow, yeah, excited for it.
Yeah, it's been a wild year, but I know next year's gonna be even better. So I'm super hyped that you guys will have some cool skins to ride out the rest of the year with. Hopefully, you guys are gonna get some cool things in the viewer store. Lord of the Rings crossover on the way. That's super hype as well. I can't wait for you guys to all get a chance to play it. And of course, you know, the Smite 1 or Smite 2, whichever game that you're playing, hope you're enjoying it and hope that you guys have enjoyed all of this balance talk that we've had as well.
Balance Talk Day.
Woo!
So yeah, as all again, notes are live right now, so if you missed anything, go back and check that out. The updates are going live next Tuesday. So
that's a big one.
Right
Yeah, 'cause
around
normally it's
Banger.
been Thursdays.
Normally it's been Thursday, but we were like, you know, we're working with Lord of the Rings. We want to line stuff up real nice. So
Oh,
Smite
yeah.
1, Smite 2, Lord of the Rings event.
Phew.
Tuesday's going to be a big day. So
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure y'all check that out. Get
It's
your
so
10
hype.
games in.
It's so hard.
I guess to go along with the drop being on Tuesday,
Please.
the drops themselves, normally they've been going out with, with the updates on Thursday. So the sprint drops, that the creators get, those will still go out on the usual Thursday. So it's going to be a couple days behind. And then the regular viewpoint drops will also still be on the Thursday rotation. So all the drop stuff will stay on the Thursday rotation despite the patch going out on Tuesday.
Yeah. As has been kind of a theme over the last couple months, we're like, if we see a chance to get the patch out even just a little earlier for y'all, we're like, why would we
Let's
not?
do it.
Let's get it.
Let's
'cause
do it.
all the best feedback, like making the game better, comes from y'all. So
Absolutely.
cool stuff. Was there anything? I mean, we're kind of at the end here. Is there anything else
Yeah.
y'all wanted to add?
No, I think that's kind of it for me.
That's kind of it.
Great year 11, everyone.
Great year 11.
Great year 11.
Way
and
to
here's
wrap
to
it.
here's to year 12 and some Smite 2 as well a little bit later
Some
down the road.
Epic Smite
Yeah.
2 action.
Epic
Speaking
Smite
of,
It's gonna be a jam-packed January.
It is. It's gonna be a jam-packed 2025. I don't think. Just from what little I know right now, I don't think y'all are ready. 2025 is
gosh.
about to be. We are
It's gonna
setting
be hype.
new peaks for Smite. So
it's going up.
is going up. So again, thank y'all both for an incredible year of shows, whether it was update shows, dev insights, Titan talks, and looking forward to what happens next.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And so that's all from us here on the Dev Insight for 11.12. Make sure you guys stick around a little bit. I think we're going to very briefly, very quickly drop the stream, and then we're going to be right back because we're going to be playing some Smite 2 casuals for Casual Friday. We're going to have,
Casual Friday.
I believe, at least maybe the three of us and a couple of others joining along with us. So make sure you guys stick around. Thank you all so much for coming to the Dev Insight. We'll catch you next time.
Later.
Bye.